Unexpectedly, I got an Olight torch in for review. This was sent in via Ruyu, who are an Olight dealer. So they asked me if I'd do a review on this, and I said, yep, I'd be interested. It has been a long time since I looked at an Olight, so we're going to go over usual procedure just to cover what's included in this particular model. Pretty standard package for Olight. You get their wrist strap with the adjuster, user guide, which I'll put up on screen later on, and your magnetic charging cable. This is the faster speed one. You can see it's red rather than the black ones, which are a bit slower, and it is quite sticky. You shouldn't have any issues with connecting that. And Bantac also supply a battery case for you. When you look at the body, what we've got is pretty much a Baton, but they've done a couple of little things to the design. The head shape is slightly different from the Baton Pro, which I looked at last year, I believe that was, and they've added that tail switch at the bottom like the Warrior series has. Side switch on this feels like that sort of flexible plasticky material. It's a sort of different texture to the rubber ones. They have changed the knurling pattern on this, but it does still slightly contact the two-way clip. Just unscrew the top now. This is quite a nice desert tan colour, I believe they're calling it. It does look quite nice, I think. And the battery that's included is the custom 18650 that Olight have used in a few others, but they have changed the contact point a little bit at the top, so it does stick out, and it's got plastic shielding around that. That means that you can put it into a charger and charge it, but unfortunately I did try other batteries. You cannot use normal cells with this. You have to use the custom batteries. I think the knurling on this is a little bit better than the Baton Pro, which had that sort of square shape with the points on it. It just feels a bit more comfortable. A lot of the other features we have seen on other Olights, like the battery level indicator, which is absolutely fine. I have no complaints with that at all. Gives you a decent idea on the level. If you're going to attach the wrist strap, you'll have to do it onto the clip because there's nowhere else to put it. The bezel on this is sort of low profile, but those points on it, they do have a bit of an edge. You can feel it when you put your finger over it, but it's hardly what you would call a real tactical bezel. Olight don't specify the LED on their torches anymore for some reason. I'll just run through the UI now. It's pretty much standard affair for Olight, the single press on off, and then you've got the push and hold to cycle through the 3 power levels. For the strobe, just hit the side switch 3 times, and pushing and holding returns back to the last level. To get to the Moonlight, you need to push and hold turning on, and your lockout is just holding it in for longer, and the side switch glows red just to let you know that you're locked out. And that locks out both of the switches as well, the one on the base or tail cap. Turbo, double press. Onto the base or tail cap, you have the 2-stage switch, so a full press is turbo, half is medium, and then if you hold it, you get the momentary, same thing again, medium, or the full press for the turbo. If you want to switch between the modes, just hold the tail cap switch in and then push the side switch, and you'll see it cycle between the two, a static and a flashing, so it's fairly obvious when you're in the flashing that you're then in the sort of tactical mode as such. Quite happy with the UI on this. The 2-stage switch is quite nice. It does feel pretty good. Those raised points at the bottom, I'm not a big fan of those, and the reason for that is it does not do the torch any favours in terms of magnetic strength. It isn't very good. I think the magnet's strong enough, but the points mean that it just moves around too much on a smooth surface. It's okay if you're pointing it down, it will hold, but it's not very good in that regard. Charging speeds on this were pretty good, just under 1.5 amps, and I didn't see any problems with the termination on this particular light. User guide, I've put that on screen. I just download the PDF for these and crop it in so you can have a look at that if you want to. So we'll move on to the beam shots now, and I will start off with the Unicorn, which is not a particularly powerful light at 850 lumens, but it does give a nice warm tint. Onto the Warrior Mini. This is at the high level, and you can see it does have a sort of biggish hotspot that's quite well diffused, and then when you take it up to the turbo, that does spread out the beam quite a bit. So this does have a bit more range than the Baton torches, and I've just included the jet beam, which has come in recently. That's more of a tactical light, so that's going to have a longer range. I'll carry on with a few more beam shots now, and I'll give you a summary at the end of the video. Couple of points to cover on the Warrior Mini. The first thing is that I do actually quite like this colour. It does look pretty nice, particularly when the torch is wet. You can see the sort of colour shimmering off of it. Very small point, that's purely cosmetic. Here's my pros and cons list that I usually do. The main sticking points for me are the custom battery. Personally, I don't like that myself, but you have the information there so you can make up your own mind on that one. There are some good points though. We have that extra additional tactical element which the switch at the bottom does add. A bit more range versus the Baton series, and we've also got pretty good UI and faster charging speeds. Be interested to hear what your opinions are on this particular torch. Do drop a comment below, and thanks for watching the video.